Hey guys, welcome back. So today we got 2022 Hyundai Sonata hybrid. Customer complaint is vehicle is trending to accelerate, and also customer reports water and debris may have gotten into the grill. It was towed in last weekend, and now I have to check this car. First, I got this car. I saw a check engine light on. This is an ignition on, so I did a full system scan, engine running, and the vehicle just shuts off, right? So anyway, I went to the hood and hook up my charger, but it won't go charging. I forgot. Some hybrids or um, plug-in vehicles has this 12-volt battery reset. So if you go inside the car, there's no power. Just hit that reset button and you get the power, right? So I did that. Now I just finished my scanning. Let's see the So we got one on the BMS. It says here hybrid battery voltage system isolation fault, can signal error to HCU, and can timeout to SDC. I don't know what's the SDC mean. Let's see here. Is there an SDC module name here? No. So there's no SDC. I don't know what's the SDC mean. But anyway, I'm gonna show you what's going on with this vehicle. I'm gonna start the car. So it shows now hybrid system check. I'm just gonna save this first, and then I'm gonna try to do a full system scan while running. So yeah, earlier my battery light was on. I have my HEV um, warning triangle there. The check engine light is on. So now, as per the customer, maybe the water get into the grill. We're gonna do a visual inspection. I don't want to drive this vehicle, even though he's complaining about acceleration, because I don't want to get stranded on the road. So I'm just gonna finish our full system scan while running, and then we're gonna do some visual inspection and see what's going on in this vehicle, because the high voltage isolation fault, that could be one connector got open circuit, especially in the high voltage system, or it could be something wrong in the harness or whatever. So we're gonna do some visual inspection, especially this. I think that's very important thing on this problem in this vehicle. Okay, so full system scan is done on engine running. I got my isolation fault active. I'm gonna go to history, and it's the same codes from before. So before we go back or go outside, I think there's an isolation test here on the scan tool. Let's just double check that and see, maybe it can help us diagnose this. No, battery isolation detection. Okay, let's do that. Okay, ignition on. I'll press OK. Ignition on. HEV not ready. Press OK. So it's just doing its isolation testing right now. Let's see if it will give us a clue where to check. But we have the code, so we'll see about this. I never tried this function yet because I never had problems with isolation breakdown on any hybrid or EV vehicles. This is my first case to have this problem. So it says here it takes 5 minutes, so let's just wait. Okay, so the isolation test is done. The expected part for isolation breakdown have been detected as follows: high voltage input unit, high voltage battery output, high voltage component input terminal. Okay, let me just take a picture of that. Okay, so I guess it didn't say anything, but we have that code, and then let's just do a visual inspection first. Okay, so we're under the hood right now. I hook up my charger there. Just visual inspection here. I don't see anything out of ordinary, but I can see some dirt there, mud on the frame, right? What this side now? Okay, as you can clearly see on the side panel here, it's all mud. So I don't know if you want off-roading with this vehicle. So let me lift this vehicle up and see. Okay, so here's our front grille here, and that's covered. Okay, let's go underneath. Okay, so I remove our undercover. Let's just see if we can find something obvious. I don't see any obvious here. Okay, so I really don't see anything here. Maybe because we have a code for the BMS. And this guy, I think these are high voltage going to the BMS. I wonder if we can check something here because look at that dirt and there, and the shield and the exhaust. Is it gonna be there? Oh man. You know what? Let me just remove this cover here and let's see what we have there. Okay, so here's our undercover remove on the passenger floor area. It looks like so far there's no, I don't see any damage on the wire, right? But there's a lot of dirt there, as you can see. So I guess my next step will be I'm gonna do that search for that code and see what's involved in there so that we can do our testing. Okay, so I did my search for that code. We got some possible causes here: faulty hybrid pack, faulty isolation resistance, high voltage component, faulty BMS ECU. So this motor HSV FATC electric water pump. So that's where the in this part here. I wonder if we get some fault in there. Well, anyway, we're gonna check our freeze frame because we get some data here because it should be 1 mega ohm and 0 volt deviation, and our data shows the same but on our information code here. So we have to get this on the freeze frame and see if there is insulation breakdown. Is it on the front end of the main relay or the rear end main relay? So at least we can, get some clues on where to check, right? So I'm just gonna go to a DTC again. I wonder if the car is off. DTC, BMS. History, freeze frame. So yes, yes. BMS fault, no. LDC, feedback, isolation resistance. We can see here It's at 0 ohm, so that's shorted, right? So we got an M4 code here. So code 0, code 1 is 0, code 2 1, code 3 0, code 4 0. So let's check our reference here. It says here code 1, code 2 1, and code 1 0. So it says installation breakdown at the rear end of the main relay. Now the question is, where's the rear end of the main relay? Um, Rear end of the main relay. Okay. It says here unplug safety plug, check high voltage terminal PRA, lower 30. Unplug safety plug and check high voltage terminal PRA lower than 30. Using safety plug, check resistance. High voltage terminal PRA 30 volts. Okay. Harness inspection, unplug safety plug, check terminal PRA, lower 30. Unplug safety plug, check terminal 30. Okay. So what else do we have here? It's the same. So BMS, main relay. So this is the power relay assembly. That's in the BMS. Let's see. Okay, there's an SDC there. SDC, C solar roof protection component. SDC, solar DC converter. Okay, so it's for the solar. Um, we're gonna check PRA component. So that's behind the seat or the underneath the seat. PRA. Okay. So now we need to check if these two terminals are shorted to ground, right? We're gonna see that if the battery side shorted to ground or the harness side. Yes, that's all it is there. And usually the insulation is for the high voltage. So I think I don't have to worry about this guy here. It's not 10 amp, that's 12 volts there, I think. We're gonna be worrying about this guy here. So we have to make sure that this is not shorted to ground. I think this A and B. So let's say to main battery module 1. Okay. Okay, so let me do the removal of the seat, and then I'll also do the discharging for the system and see if everything is good, and then we can start our testing. Okay, so I remove our negative cable. It's not gonna be there because I think the 12-volt battery is integrated to the hybrid battery. And your safety plug, or not safety plug, like the emergency connection, you can remove that. It's in that side too, where the cable is. Now I remove our high voltage cable there. So now we're just gonna quickly check our measure voltage, make sure that there's no residual voltage there before we do some testing. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this to voltage and 0 there. So now hook up your two prongs there. So we got 0 volts, right? As you can see in the numbers there, nothing. Let's just check our ground side first. There's point 2 there. Shows reading point 2 on one terminal. And the other side of the terminal is showing point 2 volts. Now, because this guy here is all going back to our battery side, I'm just gonna quickly check and do a resistance value in there and see what we have going to ground. So our ground there is 260 kilo ohms, right? Other side 270 kilo ohms on the ground. And what they said is, I think they're saying it should be above 300 kilo ohms. So now that's going in there. So we have also to check this side, this side of the system. Let me just put this aside for now. And let's double check that side there. This guy here. I just want to see what's voltages we have in there. Okay, that's 0 volts there. Now I'm gonna do one lead to ground and one lead to that terminal there. We got 0 volts. We got 0 volts. Now if I'm gonna change this to resistance value, what do we have there? We got 2 mega ohms, right? Compared to our this side of this high voltage cable going back, it was 200 kilo ohms. This one started from OL to 1 mega ohms to 3 mega ohms. Other terminal. I'm gonna try the other terminal now. Same thing, 3.7, 3.9, 4 mega ohms. Okay, I think that speaks a lot. I think we're gonna focus now, in my opinion, going all the way to the back, because this cable is going to our battery, right? So now, let me remove those seats and see. Let's check our resistance value. Okay, guys, so we're here now at the back. I did my best to remove the back seat, but the thing is, I don't know how to remove this guy. So I just lift it up, and then I shove what do you call that? A wood there. And then let's see what's going on this one. Let's do some testing. Okay, so when I was playing around in this area here, I noticed that my my carpet here is wet, like that's water there, right? And I see one there. There's a bolt there. I don't know if this guy already been repaired. This looks like this bolt here. Looks like that bolt is for our mounting bolt here. So that's interesting. There's one bolt that's lying around. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove these two cables here, and we're gonna inspect that and see if we still get the same resistance value, the same thing on the front. So and that's out. Oops. That's out. I'm gonna remove the other one. No, I can't reach that. Let me just remove this guy here. Okay, now let's do our testing. Same thing, resistance. You guys can see that. Still showing OL. So that's me touching both leads to each other. We're gonna do first the blue one, this part here. So this connection now, that's coming from the floor underneath the vehicle going up to the engine bay, right? So just gently front probe it. And now we go to the ground. We got a good ground here, the case or the bolt. Okay, that's nothing. It's showing 0. How about the other side? Okay, the same thing. Now if I'm gonna try to front probe this guy here, going to ground, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. So now, I think what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do some other testing. Okay, so I think I have no choice because I think we have to disassemble, remove this because there's another connection because this one is from the junction block there on the front going to the PRA, and there's gonna be a PRA side going to the BMA, right? So I'm gonna show you the wiring diagram. So as you can see that wiring diagram, if you follow my mouse, we're inspecting on this side here. That's from here going into the battery, and we remove in, IN, and IP. That's these sides here. But what I'm interested in right now is this part here, PRA B. That's on top here, right? So we have to remove the case for it because if you follow this guy here, this wire on my mouse, that's going and then that's open circuit. So that's why we didn't get any numbers there. It just shows OL on the resistance. The same thing on the other side of the pin for the terminal. So I'm gonna remove that case and check our, what do you call that? Our terminal, this part here. This is on top of the battery right now, right? Okay guys, so I made it. I made it removing the whole cushion assembly for the rear seat. So what happened in there, because the service information is so not clear, they just told me to pull up the whole seat and pull forward, right? Or pull from the center. So what happened here is there's a rod in here has causing not to disengage. So I noticed that when the whole cushion was in an angle, I saw there's a rod. So I just pushed that out. So that's out now. Second part was for the case on this battery. You seen me doing the hybrid, what do you call that? um, Tucson, when I removed the whole thing, I made a mistake in there too, that you don't have to remove the whole the bolts or whatever. It's just the mounting bolts on it, and it comes with the whole battery, right? um, so that's why I struggle, especially this side here, because there's not enough space there. So I removed those 12 mm bolts there, and then I removed the 10 mm, right, on that cage. After that, I remove our battery casing here. There's just a plate on top of here. So now, because I mentioned before that this one, there's a lot of water from here, right? Now, when I remove that cover, I can see, as you can see there, on that plug hole there, or where this connection, there's a lot of water there. There should be no water there. So it's either this guy got submerged, because this part here, it's all wet, right? That's wet. So yeah, so what we're gonna do next is um what we're gonna do next is, I think this is our plus minus terminal. Okay, so we're gonna remove this connector, and then we're gonna measure that resistance. How do you remove this guy? They remove it. There's a lock there. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's the terminal there. That's out. The same thing on the other side. Okay. Now we're gonna measure our voltage or resistance, right? You guys can see that. That's me. Oops. That's a wrong port there. Okay, so that's me connecting both leads. Now I'm gonna go first to this terminal here. That's off. How about this guy here? We got 2.41 mega ohms there on this side here, this terminal. And this one, we got OL. Why there's OL here? And the other side has. Okay, so next is we're gonna do this guy here on this terminal. There's nothing. That's nothing. Okay, so we didn't get that 200 kilo ohms or something like that. Well, in this side here, we got some reading there, right? Okay, so what's next? What's next? Okay, so it was weird that we didn't get any resistance value when unplug these guys here. So what I did, I plugged back in, and then we still didn't have any resistance. So I left this small connector here. Once we plugged this back in, everything was starting to get the resistance, right? Um, so I think what we can do right now, I don't know which one is this. What's this for? I have to check that, but we can check these pins now. This guy, or the pin itself here, because I think it's just a 2 pin, right? So I'm gonna check that and just see how much our resistance value. So one lead to the ground and one lead to the other one. Do we have anything? Nothing. How about the other side? Nothing. Okay, now we're gonna check the harness side. I don't know if this lead can go in there. I think I need another pin. Just give a sec. Okay, so I'm gonna probe on the front there and just measure the resistance. This guy, one on the ground and one on this guy. So we got 300 kilo ohms, right? And it shows there it should be above 300 kilo ohms on this side. And this one has 183, 184. So this part here, this is what we're measuring on the front of the, or on the under the hood, right? So now we're gonna focus our stuff in here. This guy here, this harness. So I have to look for that and see where's this connected. I don't know what's that for, right? Because it came from the inside. So we'll see. So okay guys, now I found what's this for, this connector. That's for our SDC, so that's for the solar. Now that connection is gonna go under here, this panel, and go under the passenger seat, right? I can't access it because I can't move the seat because we're on service mode, so there's no electrical read right now. So anyway, I tried to take a look in here and see, because I think it's gonna be on, it's either the bottom of the seat or in the front of that carpet there. So anyway, I tried to move this and just see maybe if I can take a look at it. But you can see there's a lot of water there, man. That's water. So this guy got flooded. You see that? I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me move the water. So, oh man. So what I'm gonna do right now is leave this unplugged so that I can just move this seat, right? Just move this passenger seat, take it out from the hoist, and then put everything back together except this guy. And then let's see what code we have, right? And then we can move this seat and inspect further that module, because I think that's full of water right now. That module there, the SDC module. Okay. Okay, guys. So I was able to remove our whole seat there, and we can see all garbage just here. And this book is all wet. That's wet. Gloves is wet. Oh man. I don't know. So now, I guess I'm gonna remove this panel here just to see. Okay. So here's our orange wire. So I think it's gonna be in here. Looks like this guy here. I just wanna see there if it's soaking water, but I think that's soaking water. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. So let me remove this seat belt here. I'll just put that aside for now. Why pull? What is this? Oh yeah. Okay. So I can see that this module, you guys can come here. Oops. Okay. You guys can come here. Okay, this is gonna be very hard. One hand. Okay, let's do one hand. First, let me just put this guy here. Okay, so first, this one was on the deep water, in my opinion, because if you can see, that's water there, full of water, this foam. Second, our this guy here. Okay, I can see that there's some water on this part here. See, that's water there. So I think this is submerged in water. That's what I'm thinking right now, because when we do the resistance check from that connector on our BMS side or the battery, the short is from that side going here. So now what I'm gonna do is just to make sure that it's not the harness, right? That we're dealing with the component. I'm gonna remove this connector. How do you remove that connector? It's just a clip. No, I think you have to pull that clip. Okay, so let me remove that connector and measure the resistance again and see if we have something. How do you remove this guy? Is it push in? No. Right, there we go. Okay. So, got two prongs there, left and right. Now we're just gonna measure the value for that. Just make sure it's not the harness. Even though we can clearly see that it's full of water here. Again, check your testing equipment. So that's 0.2 resistance. You go to the ground, which is the bolt on that module. Front probe it. Shows OL there. Other side, it shows OL. So now I'm gonna go to the front of this guy. One terminal is showing 116, 118 ohms. How about other side? Oops. Am I on the right? And the other side has 299 or 300 kilo ohms. Other side, 116. So this module is shorted. And now I'm just gonna take pictures, send it to the advisor. Let's see what they will say. Oh, for sure, that's for me. That's not warranty, and especially this car is this is not from Canada, I think, and because the plates is in Washington. So, yeah, that's our diagnosis. I don't know when it's gonna be. The part will be in because this is 2022 model. So I don't know, and I don't know too if our lithium, our 12-volt battery there, it needs replacing because that's totally depleted. So I don't know, but I'm gonna tell them we got some water in the carpet, and we don't have any short on the harness because we're basically checking short to ground to the body because that's for for safety for the drivers or the occupants in the car. They're not gonna get electrocuted. So yeah, I'm just gonna tell them what I found We did our testing and said that's it. Um, I don't know when I will get the car back or the part. So if I think I'll just make another video for that, and we'll do the follow-up repair for that. But in just this case here, we did our diagnosis. So this is my first time to get that type of problem, isolation breakdown or something like that, insulation breakdown or something like that. But anyway, um, we learned something. I learned something and how to do some testings there on just the go, and especially the visual inspection, right? Um, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Thank you for watching. Alright guys, so update with this flooded car or whatever we called it. So the insurance came and I showed him what was wrong. They said that they don't usually mess up with flooded cars. They whatever components that in contact with water replace everything. So I quote them batteries, harness, and this and that, and it comes to almost 30 grand. So I guess they don't want any repairs. They write it off. So I'm just gonna put everything back together because they're gonna pick it up tomorrow, and that's about it. So I guess there's no repair. Yeah, but we know that the diagnosis and the failure is on that side there, the solar DC converter, right? So anyway, that's just the update for this vehicle.